If you're looking for a badass adventurer who hitchhiked solo all the way from Indonesia to France, meet Cam. I was lucky enough to catch her right after she wrapped her journey, after more than 400 days on the road. So, get ready for epic stories and priceless life lessons.
I'm Cam, I'm French. I used to live in Canada and I went on a hitchhiking trip from Indonesia to France. And now I'm back from this trip.
Amazing. So maybe we should, I think that you have a big story with hitchhiking because you don't start to hitchhike from Indonesia to France just like this. So what was your first contact with hitchhiking? How did you discover it?
So in France, you have a really nice TV show that you probably know, like Pékin Express, Nuit et Culottée, where people basically hitchhike and just go meet locals that way. And so yeah, this was my first introduction when I was younger. Then when I met my first love at 15, he was actually hitchhiking every day to go to school. And every time he was coming back home, he was telling me stories about the people he met. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So quickly enough, I went like, okay, I want to do that too. And yeah, 15, 16, I think that I went on my first hitchhiking trip with my mom, actually, like just 3 days in Italy. Then at 16 with a friend, no money, 1 week in Switzerland. And after that, every time I was traveling, it was always hitchhiking because when I wanted to do hitchhiking to France, it wasn't even a question how I would do it. It was obviously hitchhiking because I've always traveled that way.
Okay, I mean, you said something that was really surprising to me. You did your first hitchhiking trip with your mom. It's really funny because so many people, me included, did their first hitchhiking trip without telling their parents. So how did it happen? How was it?
Well, I think my parents are pretty adventurous as well, kind of. And well, they became adventurous in the last maybe 10 years or something. And I was keep telling them that I wanted to do a hitchhiking trip. And they were looking at Nuit et Culottée and Pékin Express, dreaming about it as well. So yeah, I was like, oh, you don't have anything to do? Well, do you want to hitchhike in Italy? And she was like, okay, let's try. Yeah, and it was surprising to me too. But yeah, it was really cool.
Wow, I can't imagine how it would happen with my parents. It would be quite funny too. Okay.
I'm pretty lucky with them.
Yeah, and so how you then started to hitchhike alone, right? Mm-hmm. What was your first solo hitchhiking trip?
It was in Australia. I was 18, not a dime in the pocket. And I started staying 4 months in Sydney, where I was earning like $100 every week because I was an au pair. And then I went hitchhiking central. I went from Sydney back to Sydney, basically going through the big highway in the middle. I don't remember the name. So that was the first one, and that my parents weren't really happy about it, kind of. Like, they didn't discourage me, but the deal was like, okay, I go there as an au pair like they asked me, and learning English like they asked me. But after that, they don't have anything to tell about how I travel. That was the deal. And yeah, after a month, I stopped because I just didn't listen to myself at all. It was really rough, really tough. I got some bad experiences as well a little bit. So after a month, I was like, okay, I'm coming back home.
Okay. Would you be okay to tell more about this experience in Australia? I mean, the first time you did it alone, how did you feel about doing it, and how did it evolve?
I was just so excited, to be honest. I don't remember being scared. Of course, I probably was a little bit. But no, I was just so excited about it because I know that a lot of people who hear about hitchhiking, they hear bad things about hitchhiking. But for me, it was just like those TV shows we talked about, and what they show is always good. So I didn't have any fears about it. Like in my head, hitchhiking was always like really nice people, awesome conversations, and really meaningful talks and everything, which is not true. Like, you have those, but most of the time it's just like pretty random. But yeah, it was just good for me, hitchhiking.
Okay. And you talked about some bad experiences in Australia. What kind of experience was it?
So mostly, it happened mostly in Adelaide, which is in the south, center south. And basically it was, I was struggling to find a car. It was almost dark, so I started to look for a place to put my tent. So it doesn't matter where, city park, whatever, I couldn't find anything. And then somebody picked me up and he was like, okay, if you can start hitchhiking now to go out of the city. Right now I need to go to see my son. But if I come back and you're still there, I'll pick you up and I'll bring you to Catherine. And I was like, okay, cool, bye. But I was like, what the fuck is Catherine? Like, I don't remember talking to him or seeing it on the map or whatever. So I checked on the map and it was actually at that time one of the most dangerous place in Adelaide and even in Australia maybe. There was the highest, I don't know how to say it in English, but when the people go to the police to complain, the highest amount of complaint in the States or something like that. So I was like, hell, and it wasn't even on my route, so I was like, hell no, I don't want to go there. And yeah, after that, I also had a guy who asked me for a drink, asked me to sleep with him, asked me for a picture and everything. And that day when I was like, okay, I cannot go out of Adelaide, I need to find, for the first time of the trip, a hostel. I walked for like, I don't know, an hour and a half, and I ended up in that really weird area where when I was crossing the street and everything, the children were running in the house, people were closing the doors and the curtains and everything. And then a few minutes later, I saw like a white thing with like a crime investigation written on it. I was like, shit, I need to get the fuck out of here. And yeah, after that, it was just a man asking to sleep with them and things like this. But that happens pretty often. Doesn't matter the country, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. But I guess, well, that in Australia you also had plenty of good experience that kept you going.
Oh, definitely. Like most of them are always good, even though the thing is, and I think it's one of the bad thing about human, that sometimes you think about the bad things more. So when you have those bad experiences, you kind of focus on them sometimes and you don't think about all the other ones that went all right or really well. But yeah, I think it's important to remember that the world is safer than we think and most people are good. And yeah, there's a whole, I always say this, but there's a whole gap between someone who asks you for something and who insists and someone who would actually do something physically. Like during my whole trip, I had so many times where I needed to shout out a guy for him to stop asking me things and whatever, but never they touched me or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is good to know for many people, I think, that would listen to you right now. Mm-hmm. And well, the big trip we wanted to discuss today is your trip from Indonesia to France. Yeah. Did you go to Indonesia right after Australia?
No, so I went to Australia at 18. I'm 25 now.
Okay.
So I went to Australia, then back in France, then I moved to Canada.
Oh yeah.
To study.
Maybe talk a bit about Canada, yes.
Yeah, so I studied there for 3 years, then I stayed another 3-4 years to work there, and after that I went for this trip a year ago.
Okay. What did you study, for curiosity?
Wildlife management.
Okay. So yeah, pretty close to the nature, I guess.
Yeah, always. Really in the north of Quebec, not at all in the big cities.
Okay.
Not for me.
I think you will have good stories to tell about hiking, I think.
Yeah.
And mountains, I know. So, well, we can go back to Indonesia. So how did you go there? What was your plans at first?
So I always, well, not always, but when I started the trip, the goal was already to hitchhike from there to France. It was the main goal. So, but there I took a plane from Vancouver to Bali, and then I started to hitchhike.
Okay. So, how was it hitchhiking in Indonesia? How were the first days of your adventure?
It's one of my least favorite countries.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people will hate me for saying that, but I didn't have good experiences there. First, I didn't really like Bali. I liked Ahmed, but Bali is it's everywhere. You need to go to find the right places, and it's amazing, I guess. But yeah, I didn't find them. and it was like every time you want to hike somewhere or do something, you need a guide, even if it's like really easy. You need to pay for every little things. And yeah, I just didn't really like the vibe of most travelers that were there, even though I met like amazing people. Most of them weren't my vibe. And after Java, Sumatra, it was tough with the locals. From my experience, they are really insistent when they look at you or they ask you pictures, but that also happens in China and India and everything. But in Indonesia, they were, I don't know, they were not smiling, they were not, just not nice. Some of them were amazing, like I met really, really amazing locals, of course. But a lot of them, yeah, I really struggle with the overall people that I met. Like, for example, I was kind of hiding in a corner of a ferry because otherwise so many people were asking me pictures, and I was feeling kind of overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed really quickly, and I was stressing out and everything. So I kind of hide, and there's a woman who just came to me like really almost angry and be like, to ask me a picture. Like, instead of being, hi, picture, or just even say it in your own language, I don't care, but say something. And she was just like stand up. I was sitting, she was like, stand up, picture. And it was not the only time. I was also, there was a guy who came in my tent and he asked me to kiss him. He asked me for money. Then he was like, okay, don't move, I'll bring some friends. Like little things like that.
Yeah. Okay, I see. It's yeah.
Yeah, it was
overwhelming for sure.
the place I hated the most maybe, and it was also the first country. So, I mean, maybe I would go back today and it would be really different because I changed my mindset and everything. But at the time, it was really rough to start there.
So how was your mindset at this moment when you started the trip?
When I started, I didn't thought I would do it.
Okay.
To be honest, I wanted. Deep down, I knew that I was able to do something like this, but I quit so many adventures before that I was like, I was telling my friends, oh yeah, maybe I'll come back home like in a month or two.
Okay.
But I started really listening to myself and taking it slow and enjoying the places that I was enjoying and everything. And yeah, it made it easier, definitely. But yeah, at first I wasn't sure to make it, just because I wasn't trusting myself enough.
Okay. Because it was the first time you did such a long trip without going home or anything, right?
Yeah, and well, like, I mean, I immigrated in Canada for 7 years, so it wasn't so much of a thing about home. It was more a long-term thing. For example, I tried, when I was in Australia, I was supposed to stay a year, and I came back after 5 months.
Okay.
Or I tried to do the Appalachian Trail, like the Quebec section, which is 1 month, and after a week, I quit. And at first, every time I was quitting the things, I wasn't focusing on why. I was just like, I quit because I'm weak. That was the reason. It was because I was weak. But after you realize that, okay, the reason why I quit Australia was because I didn't listen to myself. My backpack was way too heavy. I was changing place every single day. I was just in a really big travel burnout and didn't realize it. I was not resting at all. Reason why I quit the Appalachian Trail is because my backpack was so heavy that I couldn't even walk because my feet were covered of blisters, and I needed to like put things on them to be able to walk. Plus, it was like so lonely, and I wasn't ready for it. So there's reason to everything, and I think that once you're able to understand the reason and find a solution for it, you'll be able to do whatever you want. Like, yeah, just need to take it slow sometimes.
Yeah, I think this is such a fascinating subject to how to manage your energy to do such a long trip.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we should keep it, save it for the end, because as a conclusion, I think it will be just perfect.
Okay, cool.
So let's go back to your road. Now you are in Indonesia. Did you do boat hitchhiking to go back to the continent?
No, I took ferries.
You took ferries?
Yeah, because I was running. I wanted at first, but then I was running out of time. And yeah, I've never done like boat hitchhiking, but definitely will.
Yeah, for sure.
And how was the practice of hitchhiking? Did you wait a long time in Indonesia?
No, it was pretty fine, but most of my trip in general, not just Indonesia, but if you do with them, they will not understand. They will think that you wish them have a good road or have a good day.
Okay.
And I didn't know that at first. You basically need to do like that to kind of ask them to slow down. And after most of the countries, I needed to explain what I was doing, because in a lot of countries they hitchhike, but they pay people. So it's not really hitchhiking, but like everyone's a taxi. So if you ask, they can take you, but you need to pay them. So every time you need to ask, like, no money, is that okay? Yes, no, okay. So yeah.
So you had to learn plenty of languages, right?
Yeah, or usually you say no money, or you say no and the name of the money, and it's okay. But yeah. Or you just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Google Translate is my best friend.
I can imagine. And this advice, just saying no and the name of the currency is perfect. Perfect. So after Indonesia, where did you go?
Malaysia. Yeah, didn't stay long there. Malaysia, Thailand. I've done the basic Southeast Asian trip, basically, where you have lots of fun, lots of friends, and it was pretty hard for me to be in the adventurous mood, if you want, because I was always staying at hostels because it's so cheap, and I had a good time and everything. So I was like, I was still like, oh, it's not the adventure I was looking for. But I knew that once I would reach China, the whole trip would change. Like there was really this big line where I was like, okay, that's gonna be the real start in a way.
Okay. So when you got to China, what happened?
Well, I needed to go through Tibet, which was unexpected at first, because at first I wanted to go through Mongolia in Russia. But then when I was in Bali, I had this opportunity, thanks to Instagram, to host a group trip in India. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I didn't thought about it. I was like, okay, it's a country like any other. I'll find my way. And then I realized I needed to go through Tibet to do it. So this was, I hitchhiked in China till Chengdu. There's one time I waited almost 15 hours or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it was tough. But it was so safe. China is like the safest country to hitchhike because there's cameras everywhere, like nothing bad can happen, basically. So China is really safe because of all the cameras. And after that, for Tibet, I needed to book a tour. So it was, the cheapest I found was like $1,000. So it was, I cried a little bit.
Yeah.
And plus you need to buy a train ticket to go there because you cannot enter by car either. So from Chengdu to Lhasa, I took a train, 36 hours train. And then for 1 week, I was going like in so many places in Tibet, but lots of driving. Like I wouldn't really recommend it unless you have plenty of times. But otherwise, Tibet is like you're on a tour that the Chinese government agreed on. So they kind of show you what they want to show you, and you don't really talk with people. There's a lot of things you're not allowed to talk about, even with your guide or whatever. So yeah, it's really expensive for what it did, I think. Yeah. And after
I mean, maybe we could do a small parenthesis about money. How did you manage to have enough money for your adventure?
I worked a lot.
You worked a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when I was in Canada and decided to do this trip, so a few months back, I worked. In Canada, we don't have a maximum of hours to work. We can work as much as we want. If you want to work 80 hours a week, you can. So basically, I was working as an outdoor guide, a waitress, and in a farm. And I was doing like 10 to 14 hours a day, mostly 7 days a week. And in Canada, you have the tips when you're a waitress, which helps a lot, to be honest. So yeah, I've done that, saved a lot. I was living in a van. I sold everything I own. Like I sold my van, all my outdoor gear. So it gave me a bit of money as well. I already had savings before. So yeah, that's how.
I mean, working as much as you did pretty helped a lot.
Yeah, but I think that when you know why you're working, you're like, I don't care. Like, yeah.
You do find the willpower to do it.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, I slept at 2, but need to go back at work at 5. Let's go. I know why I'm doing it.
Okay. Well, amazing. So let's go back to your adventure.
Yep.
And you were in Tibet.
Yeah, so Tibet, and then I crossed Nepal, started hitchhiking again in Nepal, and in India. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I hitchhiked from Indonesia to France, but there's some gaps. In India, I took trains. That was my choice. Tibet, I don't really consider it as my choice because I just couldn't. I would have had to take the plane otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, India was my choice, and to be honest, it was just because I was scared. Like I would love to say that, oh no, it's because it's whatever reason, but the truth is I was scared because of what everyone say. If I was with someone else, I would have done it, no hesitation. But alone, I was like, well, maybe not. I hitchhiked once from Leh to the Pakistan border, and at the end of the day, the guy asked me to stay with him in the hotel room. He dropped me to my hostel, and he even went out of the car and everything because he wanted to, like, he was drunk and he wanted to to share a room. He was like, oh, we're gonna pray at 5 a.m. I was like, I don't want to pray at 5 a.m. And yeah, so in the end I was like, okay, maybe that's a good thing I didn't hitchhike there. But I think there's a woman who hitchhiked, I don't know her name, but she hitchhiked all over India, everything was fine. Like it's doable for sure. Like it's not because I didn't do it that it's not doable, definitely.
Yeah,
not.
I heard some stories. I think that I know some stories of people who already did the world tour, and I think that do you know La Bretonne en stop? I think,
Yeah, she
I
was
think she
with
did it.
with a friend and they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if she hitchhiked in India alone. All the videos I saw her hitchhiked in India was with a friend, but maybe
Yeah.
she did it alone also. I don't know. But yeah, she's a fucking badass.
Yeah,
She's
for
really
sure.
cool. She looks really cool. I don't know her, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, hitchhiking in India, I guess. Yeah, it's an adventure. I mean, a friend of mine did it also. He told me they only had scooters, like
Okay.
motorbikes, and
But
never had any cars.
I think it's probably such an amazing country to hitchhike to because the people, like some people are so amazing. Like it, I would definitely love to go there with someone maybe and hitchhike because I think you can have lots of great opportunities when you hitchhike there. Yeah.
What would be your best memories from India then?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot. I loved India. I think it's my favorite country.
Really?
I didn't expect it. I was like, okay, I'll go there. I'll do my 2 weeks with for the trek, and then I'll go to Pakistan. I ended up staying like a month and a half.
Wow.
There's of course the trek with the people who followed me. That was awesome. It was like amazing landscape. I never saw that before. Then I met a really cool guy with who I visited the Taj Mahal, and we went to Varanasi together. And Varanasi was pretty shocking and interesting. Like I still have images of this that comes to mind from time to time.
Okay.
Like not obviously in a bad way. It's horrible images, you know, like people like that are really sick or that are dead, because that's where they burn bodies. And from time to time, I've kind of have flashed. Not that scares me or whatever, but I just think about it, and it's the only flashes that I've got. I don't have images from Nepal or whatever. It's always from that place, and I
Okay.
think it was
Pretty meaningful to you.
yeah, and I'm happy to have shared it with someone, to be honest. And after there was like an amazing trek with Noam that I met in Cambodia and Laos before, and then during this trek with Noam, I met another amazing guy with who I've done 7 days motorbike trip. That was so sick. Like I mean, it was just like a few little 4 little adventures, and all of them were like priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing nature, amazing people, amazing culture, amazing food, amazing music. Everything's good
Plenty
there.
of
I
good
really miss
moments.
it.
I can imagine. And so, how did you go back to your hitchhiking after that? You spent 1 month and a half without hitchhiking, and then you went to Pakistan and started to hitchhike?
Yes, so I hitchhiked from, not from Leh, from Manali. Yeah, from Manali, which is in India, until the border of Pakistan. Then I stayed a night there, and then I started hitchhiking again to Pakistan.
Okay.
And hitchhiking in Pakistan was an adventure.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, it's really different in the south and the north. So basically, I just wanted to go straight to the north. Hunza, it's called. because that's where nature is and that's what I wanted to discover, and I needed to go back up to China anyway. So I wanted to go as fast as possible, and first I just arrived in Lahore, and already there's a police that stopped me. Then they don't give me the choice and they put me in a bus. And after I get dropped out of the bus, I hitchhike to Islamabad, stay 2 nights there, and also like it's really hard to withdraw cash in Pakistan. Doesn't matter what your bank is, so it was pretty tough to find that, especially with from Pakistan till France, I withdrew once, and it was in Kyrgyzstan, and I could only withdraw once with my Canadian card, because it was blocked after, and it was shitty. So I could pay like that, but I couldn't withdraw at an ATM.
Okay.
So yeah, like after Islamabad, I stayed 2 nights there, and then I hitchhiked. I wanted to go to Minapin, but that's the Karakoram highway, and I didn't know that. I was like, well, I'm hitchhiking. And after a few hours of hitchhiking, the police stopped me, and from then I spent 2 days with the police, where they're putting me in trucks, then other police trucks, for 2 days, because basically they wouldn't tell it to me. I thought it was because I was a woman solo, and they was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But basically on this highway, the Chinese are building a dam, and there's a high risk of terrorist attack. So even if you take buses, you need to take like a certain type of bus and everything. As a foreigner, you cannot take any bus. So yeah, it was just really tricky for 2 days to listen to them, and like I couldn't go take a coffee by myself. Every time I was just walking a little bit in circle because I was waiting for another truck that they would allow me to go in. They were like, "What are you doing?" It was really tough. But yeah, after I was in Minapin, and after that in Unza, it's, I think, the best place I ever hitchhiked in.
Really?
Like, it was so easy. I felt so safe. I know it's not the case for every girl I met, but for me, I was really putting a lot of clothes on, let's say, and I didn't have any bad experiences there. People are so kind. It was like the first car that you hitchhike, they stop. It's really amazing.
Okay,
Loved
like
it.
instant.
And almost, yeah. I don't want to say every time because it's not true, but 10 minutes is a long waiting time in Pakistan. Even 5 minutes is pretty long.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing country to hitchhike in.
Okay, I wanted to go back a bit to the topic of the police. Like,
Yeah.
what was their attitude? You think they were like a bit like they wanted to take care of you,
Yeah.
or they were like more angry?
No. They really wanted to take care of me, but I'm not the type of person who like to be taken care of.
Okay.
So it was pretty tough for them. But yeah, no. In the end, they were really kind. They paid for all my lunch when I was with them. They even not paid for my hotel room. They were like, "Oh, we have a room for you for free." But then I entered the room, and it was actually the room of a policewoman, and we were supposed to sleep on the same bed. So at first I was like, well, okay, it's one night. But then, like, it was in the room, it was like so disgusting. Like, I'm not the cleaners, but it was really disgusting. Like food, like everywhere, and like even coton-tige, Q-tips, like Q-tips in the bed, like really disgusting. And but I was okay. I can do it. It's just one night. I went in the bed, and at like, I don't know, 10 p.m., she kept moving, and it was so bouncy. So I was like, it was a freaking trampoline. And then she started FaceTiming someone and screaming and everything. I was like, I was so dead because of my days before. I was like, I'm out. I went out to the receptionist. I was like, I don't care how much it is. Give me a room. And yeah, after that, it was easier. Like, I spent another day from buses to buses, always with a bodyguard. And they were putting me in random cars, but always with a bodyguard. And after that, let me go. They put me in the last bus, and I was free to go, finally.
Okay. I mean, you had the bodyguard in the car, like had someone with you the whole trip?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was really a good story to tell.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and but they were really kind. I fought with some fought. It's a big word, but basically at a moment I was so pissed because I was just like, put me in a freaking bus and leave me alone. Because basically what I could have done in like half a day, they made me do it in 2 days, and I was like, just put me in a bus. Like I'll pay for it. At that moment I was like, I'll pay for it. I don't care. But they wouldn't let me go in a bus, and so I was so pissed, and they dropped me at another police station because basically there was police, they take me, another police, they would take me, another police, they would take me, and they brought me to that new place, and they saw I was pissed when I was coming. I was like, yeah, and after the guy came to me and he was like, oh yeah, but you're a woman alone. Already you tell me that. I'm like, fuck you. And they're like, this bag is too heavy for you. And I looked at him straight in the eye. I was like, this bag is big for you, not for me. Like, it's too heavy for you, not for me. I'm fine. And he wasn't happy with that. Like, he came back, he left and he came back 5 minutes after. He was like, in my culture, you don't say that, so sit down. So.
We have a bit of music from the police while talking about the police. It's,
yeah, exactly. They come in.
It was programmed. It's I asked them to come.
And yeah, so after that, he was like, "You sit down." I was like, "Man, I spent the whole day like sat down. Just want to stand up." He was like, "No, sit down." And they all had like big guns, so I sat down.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Okay, I'll sit down."
I guess it was intimidating at some point.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, I don't want to be shot now." So. But yeah, and after Pakistan, went to China, and I really like crossed it as fast as I could. Because to be honest, I know I'm probably wrong, but I wasn't really interested by China in general.
Okay.
Even though I know there's amazing nature, but I'm like, the day I'll go to China, I want to do it properly and have time and money to do it properly. And yeah, so I also wanted to be pretty early in Kyrgyzstan. Well, if it was still October or November when I reached Kyrgyzstan already. So yeah, after that, Kyrgyzstan and Central Asia.
Okay. So yes, I don't know the geography by heart, but yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I went to Kyrgyzstan, visited a bit. I met Robin, who had a big impact on the end of my trip, kind of.
Okay.
Because basically, I think that before Kyrgyzstan, I wasn't traveling as rough as I usually like, just because of, I don't know, it had been a while. I haven't like just pitched my tent wherever and knock on doors and everything. So I was just probably scared, and especially after what happened in Indonesia. I wasn't thinking about it often, but still I think that subconsciously, it kind of impacted me still. So yeah, and I met him and we really traveled in a rough way, not showering for days, just pitching the tent, asking people. It was so amazing, and I was like, okay, I want to do that for the rest of my trip, which was not really long, but yeah. So after that, I've traveled with him for like a month and a half.
Okay.
We've been to Kazakhstan, volunteering there. Then after that, I was pretty fast after that. I went through Uzbekistan really fast because I already had my visa for Russia and I needed to be there on time. Then I crossed Russia, which was pretty interesting as well.
Okay, wow.
Because basically Chechnya, like the place I was going through, people were extremely kind. I spent 3 days in Russia. I spent $0.
Okay.
Because people were paying everything for me, and I was also sleeping in restaurants or couch surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but they were so generous. But yeah, there was that moment when I came in the car and there was this guy with a gun between his leg, and I was like, oh shit. And I didn't want to talk about it because I was like, I don't know, maybe he's a policeman or whatever. But apparently it's something pretty normal in Chechnya. Like,
okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, good to know now.
Okay. Local culture.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I met great people there as well. And after that, I crossed Georgia. And I felt like that was also like a really big point. Like it's almost it's between Asia, Europe. It's almost the end. It's so close to France. I mean, not only geographically, but when you see the people, like the landscapes, the cities, it kind of looked the same in a way. So I was like, okay, I'm almost back. Yeah.
So at this point, how long had you spent on the road already?
Probably 11 or 12 months. Oh no, more than a year. Yeah, a little bit over a year.
Okay.
At the time, yeah.
So now, yeah, it was the end of the cultural shock.
Yep. Yeah, and after that I went to Turkey, but only stayed, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks there. Really loved it though, but I just kind of felt like I was ready to go back. And I was more excited by the project I had back home and see my family and go back to a place that I knew, than exploring new ones. Plus it was winter, and I was like, everything that I truly love, being outside, is not as enjoyable. So I rather keep my money and go back fast to France and come back after to spend my money in summer when I can truly do the things I love. So yeah, that was the mindset a bit. And after, like, from Istanbul back to France, it was a go fast in 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't even realize I've done it that fast.
Yeah, how did you do? I mean,
I don't know.
So much, so fast. It's amazing.
Yeah. To be honest, it's crazy because, like, I went out of Turkey and the first pickup that stopped was like, I'm going to Paris. I was like, you're kidding me, right? I was like, no. But I just spent 1 day with him.
Okay.
So I've done, I went from Istanbul to Serbia in 1 day. And then he was starting pretty late in the morning, like he was starting at 9 and I wanted to start at 6.
Yeah.
And anyway, he was going to Paris and I'm going to Marseille, so we would have split up anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, it can't be that easy for the end. Like, I don't want it to be that easy.
Yeah.
I want to struggle a bit. So I went to from Serbia to Italy, near Venice.
Yeah.
On the second day. I slept, like, I put my tent in a random parking lot in a highway area. I was just hidden by a truck. And then the truck left at 4 a.m.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to deal with the police because I already dealt with the police the day before. I was like, I know I'll have trouble if they see my tent there. So at 4:30, I started hitchhiking the next day. I was like, okay, I'll be able to make it today. I was like, shit, it's the end and everything. But then it was already 3 and I was stuck. I've been stuck for hours in Italy, like, because nobody picked me up. And then I found a truck. I was like, okay, if today I can go to Genova, so which is in the south,
Yeah.
it would be great. Tomorrow I'll be able to reach home. So that was what was happening in my head. I was like, I want to sleep near Genova. I quit the idea of coming back home today. And then I see this man and I'm like, okay, can you put me, like, can you bring me to Genova? He was like, oh yeah, it's on my road. Okay, I'll bring you to Genova. I was like, oh yeah, nice, so cool. But where are you going? He was like, Marseille. I was like, Marseille, like France, Marseille? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh shit, it's the end. I really was like, oh shit. And so I went with him and I was in his truck for, like, I don't know, 6 hours or something. And then he dropped me, like, on the highway 30 minutes away from my house.
Wow.
And yeah, I kind of had the shock at first when I crossed the border to France. I wasn't even excited because the only idea I had in mind that I needed to pee so bad. Like, I couldn't know myself. I was like, shit, I need to pee. I saw the things, France. I was like, whoa, shit, I need to pee. And I looked at him. I was like, man, I need. And he was like, oh yeah, in 20 minutes. I was like, cannot anymore. So the first thing I did in France was, like, make him stop, like, almost at the entrance of the country on a random, like, on the side of the highway, and I peed on the side of the highway because I couldn't know myself. And after that I was like, let's go, I'm in France. And I kind of realized when I arrived in Nice and I saw a French flag, and then I don't know why it drew my attention, but I saw these soccer players and I was like, wow, all of these soccer players talk my language. And this guy was from Georgia, actually. And I was like, oh, and I started to look all the car plates and all the people, and I was like, all of them talks my language. And it kind of clicked and I started crying a bit and everything. And then, yeah, so it dropped me 30 minutes away from my home on the highway. and I was just like, yeah, let's go, like fucking screaming everywhere. It was like 11 p.m. and I walked out of the highway, put my thumb out for the first car that stops, and I was like, are you talking French? And they were like, nope. And it was the best car ever to end the trip. Basically, it was two German guys that were traveling, and they were going to the village right after my home, so they could drop me in the village. I walked for like 20 minutes till my home, and it was the end.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a crazy last day. It was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. It was, full of emotions
It
to
was.
listen to it.
It was.
Yeah, so I guess that. How did you feel when you finally were in front of your home?
I cried so much.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was it was from excitement, from relief, because I was proud. It was just like so many emotions. But also, for example, I think that if those guys would have dropped me right in front of my home, I wouldn't have had so many emotions. But I asked them to drop me in the middle of the village because I wanted to take those 20 minutes to walk there, to like kind of have my last moments with myself before the end of the trip. So it was really, really weird. And my parents weren't expect me to come because I couldn't text them that in the end I could come that day because I had found a car, because I didn't have any internet, because I rarely take a SIM card. So yeah, they didn't know, and I just heard my mom like opening the the window of her room, being like, and closing and running to me, and it was great. We spent like a few hours talking and everything. I was like, sorry, I'm a dirtbag. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But after it feels strangely normal. Right after the first day, the full first day I spent there, it feels strangely normal because it's the home I grew up in. So.
Yeah, I mean it's barely 2 weeks ago that you came back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, quite recent. So
Yeah.
you're still, processing the emotion, I guess.
Yeah, and I think I didn't even truly realize it in
Yeah.
a way, or I did, and I didn't had any downsides or anything. I don't know how you want to call it. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good. I don't have a travel blues or whatever, but I think that the reason why I'm good is because I felt ready to come back home, and I had projects that were exciting me. So that's the reason why I feel so good about it. I'm so happy to be back home. Right now I'm in Paris to see friends I met while traveling and create content, but I'm also really excited to go back. So.
And I think that I feel like in this trip you really learned how to manage your energy well, and I think that helped a lot for you to really be in a good mood, like you were not burnt out when you arrived. So maybe we could actually now talk about how you did manage your energy on such an adventure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple to say probably, but also to apply. Actually, just as dumb as when you're tired, just slow down. Like especially if you want to do something on a long term, you cannot like keep pushing yourself, because first you won't be able to do it, and you'll just burn out. You'll be just so tired about everything. You won't enjoy the places as much. Yeah, just when you're tired, slow down. What I found for myself is like to find volunteering opportunities. It's nice to kind of find a little routine and just settle down, even just for a bit. And other than that, just if you like a place, stay there. You don't have to do everything. Like I like to say that I rather see less and experience more of one place. Even though I still like travel pretty fast, to be totally honest, I think it's nice to slow down, and if you like it, if you don't see the must-see spots that TripAdvisor or your favorite influencer, who cares? Like there's still so many things to do. And even like I spend days sometimes in the hostels, like just eating chocolate and watching YouTube, because that's what I wanted to do. And after that, 2 days ago, I was like just so excited to explore again. You just need to take the time to process your emotions, but also like just the fact that you're tired, basically. And yeah, if you
Yeah.
same goes for if you go to a place, everybody loves it, but you don't, just leave. Like
Yeah.
that's the freedom that we all want when you travel. That's why it's interesting to not plan and to go solo.
For sure. I feel like when we talk about traveling, we easily have some kind of fear of missing out, and
Yeah.
what you say is just so real that you have to slow down and enjoy the things that you actually enjoy. When you
Yeah.
have a good surprise, just stay. It's
Yeah, but if you like that restaurant, well, go there 4 times. You don't have to change every night if you don't want to. Like, who cares? Like, it's yeah. I think that I used to have the FOMO a lot, and I think it kind of went away because I kind of realized that sometimes if you force yourself to go to that place, that party, that friend, whatever, but you're not fully want to, you'll just put the mood down and you won't enjoy it anymore. So might as well spend a day off and enjoy the day after even more than just like pushing and pushing and pushing, and one day you blow up, and what's gonna happen is you're just gonna be like, okay, I'll go back home because I'm too tired. But if you had take these breaks and not being afraid of missing out, allowing yourself to rest, you probably would have stayed longer traveling maybe. So yeah.
yeah, really true. And I think that you said earlier that traveling solo allowed you to do that. I think that traveling solo during more than a year like this did teach you a lot about yourself.
Yeah, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm more kind than I used to be.
Okay.
I think that the big changes for me. I don't think I was ever like a bad person or whatever, but I think I like people more in general, and I try to understand people and emotion more. But yeah, I think there's also like so many things that I learned and that I don't realize that I've learned, or that I haven't processed yet because it's still new kind of. And there's also things that I've learned that I will unlearn because I'm not traveling anymore, and that's part of it, I guess. But, yeah.
This is one of the beautiful things about hitchhiking and traveling like this. You really meet people that open your mind and really
Yeah.
change your vision of the world.
Yeah.
Maybe would you like to share some encounters you had, like the one that comes to your mind that really gave you faith in humanity, maybe?
Yeah, like there's a lot of good people. Like for the whole trip, I think that maybe 95% of the cars always gave me food or water, or both, or even stopping just to buy me a coffee. It's really rare. I think I can count them on one hand, the people who allowed me to pay for when we were going in a restaurant. It's pretty crazy. But the one that comes to mind, probably because it's one of the last ones, was this guy in Uzbekistan. He picked me up hitchhiking and then invited me to his house. At first I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay in Samarkand. And then a few days after I was like, okay, I want to trust people. Let's go see him. And he was with his wife, and I spent like 2 days with them. They were amazing. By the way, his wife gave me this beanie and this shirt.
Oh.
At first I don't want it, but she was like, yeah, yeah. And she also wanted to give me a blanket to give to my mom, because we
Wow.
called her and I introduced them. And I was like, I cannot carry a blanket in my backpack. But yeah, they were just so kind, and I know I could have spent like a week there if I wanted to. And we were only talking like through Google Translate, but it was so interesting. We talked about religion, about homosexuality, about the country, my country, everything. It was really, really amazing people. Very
Yeah.
cool. But there's like so many encounters, travelers,
Yeah.
locals, a lot.
I can imagine you have thousands of such stories to
Well,
tell.
actually, not 1,000, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. When you talk about hitchhiking, I feel like people think it's either like really bad or extremely
Yeah.
good. The truth is, most of the time, it's pretty random. Like you
Yeah.
talk with people, but you're not like, hey, give me your number, But yeah, there's a.
Music from Paris.
But yeah, there's these little encounters that doesn't happen often, but still do happen. And when it happens, you really cherish them.
magic.
'Cause it's magic, yeah.
That's really cool. And more music from Paris. I wanted to ask you also, So you traveled, yeah, a lot of time, and did teach you also a lot about yourself. You also had this, well, you kept uploading videos on Instagram very regularly. How did it impact your schedule? How hard was it for you to have like this full-time job, I feel, while traveling?
Yeah, but first I'm really addicted to work, so it was really nice to have like this kind of work, and also it forces me to slow down, but in a good way. I know a lot of people struggle to find a balance, but because I don't have the FOMO, and I also don't like cities, so when I'm in city, most of the time, you can check my reels, I'll be in a coffee shop editing. So yeah, I kind of, yeah, it forces me to slow down, being like, okay, I don't have reels for the next days, I need to stop, edit, and like that I was still doing something, because I couldn't like rest and scroll on my phone all day, I will turn crazy. So that way I was still resting my body and mind while doing something that I needed to do. So no, it was yeah, it was kind of maybe not a full-time job, but a job while traveling, but it for sure impacted my trip, but for the better, I think. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but when you take videos, you're not in the moment. And if you check my videos, you'll see that I don't really set up the cameras, and a lot of times when I'm with locals, I just like 1, 2, 3 seconds and that's it. Sometimes they don't even see it. And most of the beautiful conversation I have, I keep it for myself. Nobody except me will ever leave this.
Yeah.
So
I have the same situation.
Yeah.
But what I really like with your videos, you have this kind of really authentic vibe, and I think that is. I think it must have been so inspiring for many people following you. I mean, you must have people who have sent you messages like, yeah, I started to travel with you thanks to you, or have the plan.
Yeah, it's so weird every time, because I'm like, nice, thank you.
For you, it's normal.
Well, it's not normal that people tell me that, but I don't know, it's just so weird to be like, oh, my videos actually seen by real people first. But also can inspire people, because I have inspirations that pushes me to go adventure. Sarah Markey, Eva Zubek, so many. Well, not so many actually, because in the female field there's not so many. But yeah, Sarah Markey and Eva Zubek are the big ones. So yeah, I don't say that I'm the Eva Zubek of someone else, but the fact that I helped them just take a little step, it's pretty weird to me to realize. And I don't realize the big number next to my Instagram account. It's yeah, it's just I don't want to be like, oh no, I don't realize. It just I really don't realize that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so many people.
Yeah, I mean, is it? It's quite recent also that you have so many followers on Instagram, right?
Well, basically, what happened is that when I was in Malaysia, I had 3 videos at the same time that blew up, like 23 million views, 4 million views, 1 million views. And in 1 week, I went from 300 followers to 50K. Yeah, and after it kind of built up more lately. But yeah, I mean, from there, it was pretty, not slow, because it's still a big growth, but it was like measurable.
Yeah, okay.
It was not like a big, another big up.
Okay. And I guess that for you, it didn't really impact how you traveled. You just kept on doing your videos. And,
it's the same. Like, I get better at editing, thank God, because the first one are awful. But yeah, no, it's yeah, same vibe. I don't want to. Of course, I want to do best shots and have better sound and everything. But I want to keep the authentic way I put everything on Instagram. That's the reason why I started, to show the real side of traveling, and that's the whole goal and the whole. Yeah, I will not go out of this. It's not what interests me.
Yeah, and I think that this is also why, well, this is why we follow you, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
People who follow you, so.
Yeah, because they're like, oh yeah, I'm the same, and that's the goal. I don't want people to be like, oh wow, she's so different, that's why she's cool or whatever. Like, I want to be the good friend.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, talking about being a good friend, I think that we can now talk about the advice you would give to someone who wants to start to hitchhike. Maybe what would you suggest to someone who wants to start?
As a woman, but also as a man.
Yeah.
I think that, of course, we talked about it off, but There's all the things like find a good spot, smile, have bright clothes and everything, but that you can find it like on internet easily. I would say that you need to be able to stand for yourself. If you see the driver acting weird or like asking you things that makes you uncomfortable, you need to be able to talk back and to tell him to stop. Because I know a girl who hasn't been and who ended up with a guy holding her hand and touching himself because she froze. If you're not able to stand up for yourself, I think that you shouldn't hitchhike, because hitchhiking is not for everyone, unfortunately. If you're able to talk back, to stand up for yourself, to be able to be dropped anywhere, go for it. So yeah, that would be the big one, I think. Trust yourself enough to talk back, to defend yourself, and yeah, that would be the big one, I think.
Yeah, this is pretty deep. And I mean, you obviously are able to stand up for yourself. Has it always been the case for you, or did you work it out?
Nah, I was afraid to say hi to the cashier when I was little. But then I was bullied in school, and I met one girl who helped me like stand up for myself, kind of. I never talked back in school, but after that I did. But yeah, no, it's something you build up little by little. At first, of course, the first time I didn't say I would froze, but I was being nicer with the guy who was asking like, "Hey, can we sleep together?" I was like, "No, no, I'm not interested." Now I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like I'm way more rough now. So no, it's definitely something that you can work on. It's not because you cannot now that you will never be able to. If you can stand up for yourself and want to hitchhike, find someone who is able to and who can bring you with, and little by little build confidence about trusting people, because you still need to trust people when you hitchhike, otherwise you just won't hitchhike. And little by little, just being able to trust yourself more. But that goes for hitchhiking, but also for going hiking solo, for traveling in general.
For life in a way.
Yeah, for life, basically.
I wanted to maybe ask you if you would have maybe more specific advice for women, but I think that the one you gave is already pretty amazing. If you want to add anything, because I know that many women would like to have maybe more advice from you, please go.
I know that a lot of people will ask if you have to carry a weapon or something. Personally, for this trip, I had a spray deodorant, because basically pepper spray is the best, and that's what I would recommend. But it's not allowed in every country and everything, so it can be tricky. So just a spray deodorant, if you put it in your eye, it's gonna hurt. And otherwise, I had a knife. Of course, if the person in front of you knows to use it better than you fucked. So yeah, it's really not the best thing to have. But yeah, definitely carry something. But to be honest, sometimes it was like, I always try to have it in my crossbody bag, but sometimes it was in my big backpack. Not most of the time. Most of the time I was taking care of putting it like in my pockets. But yeah, at the end of the trip, sometimes I was just forgetting it when I was in Europe, because I was like, it's Europe, which is them. But yeah.
I think that now we can go closer to the end of the interview. Yes. So I have to grab like the little signs. So I check, yes, it is the right. So I'm going to give you like the little bag of definitions. Okay. So the game, you have to pick one word, you read it, you show it to the camera so we know which word it is. And then you give a quick definition of each word.
Okay. So, happiness. Oh, now I need to be wise. Happiness. I think that even if you find happiness, you're not always happy. In a way that, first, it's something that comes and go, of course. It's not something, I want to find happiness. It's not like you can find a camera and have a camera. It's something that comes and go. But for example, right now, I think that I'm in the best place of my life right now. Like, I'm really happy and calm, like I've never been. And I think that happiness would define what I feel right now, but it doesn't mean that sometimes I don't feel sad. Sometimes I think about things I've seen or about more personal things, and I'm sad about it. But overall, I would still say that happiness kind of defines my life right now. So yeah, I think it's not a goal to reach, but more something like a little maze, you know. Like sometimes, you need to go back a little bit, but it's always there. So
I really like this image of the maze. It's yeah, you need to stay on the right
on
path.
the right path, and sometimes you go out a little, but you know the way back. And yeah, but I think that in order to enter the maze, sometimes it can be tricky because the maze is a pretty secret, you know. So you know, to find the maze, once you found it, once you understand what defines you, happiness, it's easy to go back to it. But if you don't know what makes you happy in life, it's more difficult, kind of, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm
Thank-
wise.
Yeah.
Man,
Amazing.
What do you think, Adele? I take another. Basically,
Yeah.
I do all of them.
You can do all of them, or we can just switch to the last one, which is about
All
adventure.
right, let's switch to the last one.
Last one.
Adventure. No, my real definition of adventure would be Mike Horn. But no, for real, it depends of anybody. What's adventure for me would be like so easy for Mike Horn, but would be like so hard for someone else. But I think adventure as long, because for me, adventure, I really feel like it's in nature, you know. Like I would legit say that doing the Annapurna circuit is more of an adventure than hitchhiking from Indonesia to France, which doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know, it's pretty weird. But yeah, or just, because for me, adventure is really related to nature and to being in the wild and everything. I don't know what I would call my trip, like a big trip. But yeah, maybe that. Big adventure, an adventure is, comment tu dis? Yeah, is pushing your limits in the wild, I guess.
Pretty nice definition.
Pushing your limits in the wild, I like that.
Well, I think that you answered all the questions I had.
Force rouge.
And right now, to just finish our interview, I mean, you already shared a lot of references during your the interview, but would you like, if you had to share one book or one movie to someone, which one would it be?
I don't want to say like Into the Wild, even if it inspired me a lot. But it actually, for French people, Nu et culotté, definitely. Like all the episodes.
Yeah.
For sure, that's what inspired me the most. A book. Oh, that's a good one. I should have thought about this. I really love Sarah Markey's book. Probably because I'm a woman too, but she's the one. It's one of the women who inspired me a lot when I was younger. It's, I think, the first adventure book that I read from a woman was hers. So yeah, Sarah Markey, she's an amazing adventurer who's hiking hundreds and hundreds of miles in the Australian desert, probably. So yeah, all of the books are really amazing.
Yeah.
And Eva Zubek YouTube channel, of course.
We'll put the references.
Do it.
And if you want also to share your social medias where we can follow you, and if you want to share a little bit about your next adventures, if you want.
Oh, no. It's still a secret, but because I'm gonna put some hints in the next few months. But it's still in a while, next adventure, because I need money, I need time to prepare everything. But I'll share all the preparation on Instagram. So it's adventure.cam. I started posting on TikTok as well, so I repost everything I've posted in a year. So there's a lot of old things. And I'm going to start a YouTube channel as well, which will be pretty different. It will not just be travel. It's going to be a mix between concept and traveling. Anyway, it's going to be friends having fun, basically. So yeah, adventure.cam everywhere. And that's it.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for your stories. It was so interesting to listen to you. So thanks a lot for doing this interview. And well, go follow her Instagram. It's
Thank you.
amazing gold mine of inspiration.